Yo, 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 what is up,
Oh,
everybody?
yo, what's going on?
What you reading there, Morbius?
I was just checking out some of my Funko Pop figures. I got inspired
Nice.
by your intro there. I was like, you
Oh,
know what?
fancy. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna go check some stuff out here. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Happy
Not too
Tuesday.
much, man. Hey, same to you, man. Happy Tuesday. Everything is good. Everything's good, man. These weeks are flying by, and it seems like, we're right back at it again. Tuesday's my favorite, man. It's my favorite evening to just,
Dude, it's one of your busiest, if you ask
what?
me.
Yeah, exactly. It is
It is
definitely one of the
insane for
busiest.
you, man.
I got
Like
3 shows tonight, and I had a
after
premiere earlier
this,
today.
I go sit down, in my shorts and
Yeah,
drink a
you
beer,
relax.
scratching my balls. You over here. After that, you're like till
On the
like
grind,
1 in the
man.
morning.
On the ground. I sleep on Mondays. That's really it. I
Exactly.
sleep on Mondays, and then
You really don't need more than that.
Energizer Bunny after
Exactly.
that. So welcome everybody. This is another episode of Comic Relief. This is episode number 12,
Yes.
which is awesome. We've been flying by with these.
Man,
And we're talking about the Key Collector app today. Asking the question of, is it helpful? Is it hurtful? Does it affect the market? Does it affect comic books in general? Or does it help us? Does it help us as collectors? Are there some conveniences to it? So, these are just some of the highlights, some questions that we're going to get into. But of course, we got to bring on a guest with us, Morbius. So I figure we reach out to the Team Nerd Herd crew.
Let's go.
And we got my man JR Rogue Slaw. What is up, JR?
What's up, guys? How are you doing tonight?
How you doing, man? Thanks for
Doing
coming
good,
on.
bro.
We appreciate you for that.
And I don't know how you do 7 shows in one night. I do 2 a week, and I'm like, okay, I'm good.
I do 1 week, and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know,
thanks.
man.
Yeah, man. So thanks again for coming on. JR, we appreciate you. We love what you do.
No problem.
With Team Nerd Herder. And as a matter of fact, why don't you just give us some, now that we have you here, tell us a little bit about it. Tell us a little bit about yourself so that people can know what's going on. Make sure you guys follow the man. All his info should be down here somewhere. So make sure you follow him.
So
it's all yours.
As my mom likes to say, I'm the poster child for birth control. I piss off everyone. I'm like, you know what? Oh, well, deal with it. I'm your Star Wars fan. You're Spider-Man thoroughly hater. I mean, if I could write Spider-Man and kill him off, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would buy Amazing Fantasy 15 just to burn it, and I would put it online.
Oh, JR, our numbers are falling right now. Our numbers are falling.
Okay.
Now you're throwing out insults.
Yeah. No, I'm just here to have fun. I mean, it's over at Team Nerd Herd, though. We're kind of like I hate to steal Wu-Tang from the north from you guys over there, but we're kind of like the Wu-Tang. We're just doing everything. I mean, we got Comics and Pops doing his preview shows. We just had that show they did on Demon Slayer right before this.
I was just there watching. Yeah.
We have Ian and Nick doing their cell phone balling. We got Azorus Tiger coming over from Spine Ticks to do with Ian. Their show, which is all about Bear and Bullish. We've got a couple more shows in the works. I mean, it's like I said, it's like the Wu-Tang where they drop the one big thing and then they kind of just scatter and do all their own things. You know what I mean?
That's what I like about Team Nerd Herd. You guys cover everything, and there's a little bit of everything for anybody who's interested in any of these said topics that you just mentioned. So yeah, and as Morbius said, I did put all your information in the description below. So anybody who's not following you over on YouTube or over on Instagram, which I know JR, you're working on getting better at the Instagramming. I know it's gonna be your 2022 resolution. I know it.
I need you
in getting back to the gym.
Come on.
Yeah, there you go. Let's say a quick hello to the chat before we jump into this hot topic here. We got Unruly Simeon hanging out first and foremost here, nice and early. Appreciate you, man. We also had Copy 801. Just saw him over on the Nerd Herd channel as well. He said he was ready for some cranky Spider-Man loving, feet appreciating guy on YouTube. Yeah, that is JR right there in a nutshell. We got Eric Duran, Station Brother. Good to see you. Speaking of Team Nerd Herd, there's one of your crew members there, Hood Rat, my man Ian. We got Paul Morris, PJ, who was messaging me earlier. He has some feelings on today's topic that I'll see in the chat. Something Wong is hanging out with us. We got my man Jason claiming comics as well. Eric the Phoenix, he was also just on your channel, JR.
Yep.
With his Alonzo premiere, and Steve. Yep, they were talking it up for the new Demon movie that they were talking about. Let's see. We got Fuzzy Dunlop from across the seas. What's going on, Fuzzy?
That's a great name.
It is, right? We also got Dave UK Comics. I'm assuming Dave's from the UK. So what is up, Dave? Appreciate you guys. If you're new, make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you're subbed up to both these gentlemen next to me here, as we are still trying to get Morbius over 100, which you're getting there, bro.
You know what? I'm thinking about starting a giveaway. I don't know.
Oh, you should.
That works.
I'm thinking about doing a giveaway, guys.
Yeah.
And I might
give away the wall behind you.
I don't know if I want to just settle for 100.
Throw that whole
giveaway is going to be something nice and cozy that the people are going to really love. So I want to make sure that,
that makes sense.
They get what they want. And so
let's give that wall away, bro.
Hell yeah. Let's just shoot for 20,000 subscribers. 20,000.
There you go. It's worth it. It's all worth it.
There you go.
I'm giving out that Spider-Man Amazing Fantasy.
Exactly.
All right.
We got Alonzo hanging out with us here. We're just referencing his show. We got Jennifer. Comics Will Break Your Heart. Hello, Jennifer. Thanks for stopping in. My man Bricks is in the house. My man Chamorro Cinema. He also has a show going on, I think, at 8:30. So shout out to Chamorro. He's another one always on the grind. How do you guys feel about slapping books? Oh, we are not getting into that today. Something wrong. We're not getting into that today. What up, Steve? We got my man Steve Hip Hops and me in the house. We got Sheena hanging out with us as well. We're getting through this chat here. Mrs. Chamorro hanging out with us. What's up, Mrs. Chamorro? Hello. Travis Station, TM Nerdy in the house. He was also just live a little earlier today. We got Brandon from Comics Kings hanging out as well. We got Moonlit Comics. The chat just jumped on me. Let's see. I saw Shatter here. I think I got everybody. If I miss you, just keep it up in the chat, and I'll make sure to highlight you guys. And I'll say now. Jeff Schultz is in the house. I saw Brandon said Morbius likes slabs, like he likes Beach Momoko.
This guy, he's been harassing me for days now with this. He just won't quit. I love you, Brandon, but you're
that's
not
how you know
turn me.
That he's trying to turn
He's trying to turn me.
Morbius, if you own cats, you have to have slabs for your big books. If you own cats,
like they'll damage them. You mean?
Yeah.
You got to keep them locked up.
I do own a cat.
Yeah, you try doing that.
I do own a cat, and but he does not enter this room.
Okay.
He knows already. I've trained him, with rocks and bottles, like when I throw it at him. No, I'm just kidding. But no, he's a good cat. He doesn't mess around my room. He stays out of it. He doesn't like coming in here. He'd rather be out there than in here. So I'm grateful for that. I got lucky.
Smart cat. I have to block my door to keep my cats out.
I was going to say, we'll probably have a guest appearance of JR's cat at some point.
Yeah.
Tonight.
No, I blocked the door nowadays.
Oh, you did? Sometimes he wiggles in there still,
Yeah, Loki likes to get in here sometimes.
Hey, quick cheers, by the way, because
I was
decided
gonna say,
to have a drink.
Cheers, guys. Cheers. And
pleasure, brother.
Salute, man.
All right,
I do want to say what I'm drinking is very special. This is leftovers from the wedding over the weekend.
Oh, that's right. You were in Texas.
Yeah, it's awesome. My older brother got married, JR.
Oh, nice.
It was a blast. So this is,
congrats.
Everybody knows, well, those who don't know, now you know, I only drink Hennessy. So this was a little leftovers, which is Hennessy XO,
nice.
So yeah, this,
fancy.
Oh man.
And nice cold.
This is a fancy bottle. That's like what Eric was showing last time, his fancy bottle.
Man, tell me about it.
We got Raging Cajun Comics in the house. What is up, Raging?
Big Raging.
All right, guys. So let's get into this topic here. It is a juicy one. And I think a lot of people have some strong opinions. So, we always clarify we are not, professionals in any sense. We are just talking based on our own experiences, how we feel. There's no wrong answers here. So I always like to clarify that first. So it's all out of respect. Not here to call anybody out. So, anybody in the chat here, feel free to put what you guys think, or if you have any questions along the way, and we'll highlight them. We'll go through them and kind of jump around. So we'll kick it off with the Key Collector app, which if you guys are not familiar with, it is an app on phones. I mean, I was gonna say iPhones, but it's any phone really. But you can download this app, and it is essentially a resource. Or I call it a resource where you can get information based on first appearances, other significances about certain books. You can also get notified for when certain books are, being, going for more money and so on and so forth. I'm just describing it certain ways. I know others can probably describe it in other ways as well, but these are just some, quick mentions of it. So with all that being said, if you're not familiar with it, look it up and you'll understand, but we won't get into those details. But I want to get your guys' opinions on, generally speaking, what you think of this app. And do you use it yourself? Do you think that this is something helpful to you, or do you refuse to use it? Do you even have it downloaded on your phone? Morbius, I'm going to start with you.
Okay. Well, the app needs to be burned, and the creator needs to be nailed to the cross.
Whoa. Please, no threats.
No, I'm just joking. No. But to be honest, the app is it has its pros, it has its cons. Just like anything else in this world, you have your good, you have your bad, and I believe a lot of that falls on the collector. A lot of that responsibility when dealing with this app, because of course, just like anything else, when you see something on Instagram or somebody posted, and now you have an app that's telling you 100%. This is a comic book that's going to have value, and the value is potentially to grow. So instantly, a lot of people are going to get that FOMO. You're going to want to have it because you're going to know, oh, this guy's going to get it. This guy, oh, they're going to have it. I want to be able to post it first. You know what I mean? On Instagram, all that shit, And so basically, to me, I use the app, but all right, let's make it a little more understandable. I go to my comic list that comes out, go collect comic list. That's where I go. I look at what's coming out, every book that's coming out that week. I go through it, and then I go through what I usually go through, which are books that I'm interested in, books that I'm reading. Pretty much that falls right there. You know what I mean? I'm not jumping outside of that. If I'm not, then I would go, let's say, to the Key app right after that, and then see if any of the books that I picked is in the Key app. And then now if I see something from what I'm reading or what I'm interested in following or looking into, which may be a new run, let's just say like Ice Cream Man. When it came out, I was like, oh, okay, let me check this out. I saw in the Key app, oh, yeah, okay, they saying this is something to pick up. Let's see what this is about. But now it all falls back to having that control, self-control. You have, let's say, the Nightwing that came out, right? Where that blew up with him in the cover. Or
78, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't read that. I don't care for DC as long as it's Batman, and it has to be a specific run. I don't, care for any of those characters. I don't care if it's a Key. My owner at the, comic shop was like, hey, I got it here. You want me to put it in your pool list? And I was like, nah, I don't want it. And he was like, oh, they're saying it's going to be a hot book. I don't care. To me, when I have it, it's only going to be what, $1 value? Like I want, me, when I have a book, it has to mean something to me. I have to want to read it. I have to be like proud of having it in my collection outside of its value. The value is the bonus, the cherry on top. You know what I mean? But the fact that I want this book because it's just an awesome story of the artist now that I'm looking at, that's amazing, or just the writer, just whatever. You know what I mean? But to me, the Key app, it could kill you or it could make you, but it all depends on you. It all depends on how disciplined you are, because don't get me wrong, when it came out in 2017, bro, I was fucking getting every book that it said was a Key. You know what I mean? I was just like, I'm gonna get that. You know what I mean? And that was like every week. And then it's like, holy shit, I'm gonna have to start eating these fucking books because I can't afford to buy food.
but now, was that the problem, the app's problem, or was that your problem?
My problem. See, like that's why I'm not gonna go in and blame the app. You know what I mean? Because the app is always you can't go around like saying that these things are bad. Of course, I'm not going to say that there's not an influence depending on how they fuck up with speculation, and they'll say, hey, this book is going to explode or get this key. And then it doesn't go nowhere. It's not a key. I've seen them delete shit, where they posted stuff and then they removed it because they realized they fucked up. So of course they're going to make mistakes. That's going to happen. That's a given. I expect that. You know what I mean? Because to me, that's not how can I say, the golden, rule of collecting keys is only Key app. Like I'm not looking at it that way. to me, it's just like, okay, let me just double check what my list is, what I decided to buy this week, and see if I got lucky, or per se, you know what I mean? If there's any potential value in the books that I'm actually enjoy reading, enjoy following, enjoy having in my collection, you know? So that's the way I see it. You know, I'm not looking at it no other way. You know what I mean? I'm not neither here or there with it. To me, it's just a tool. But it all depends, like any tool. You know, they give you a drill. If you act recklessly with that shit, you're gonna drill your fucking hand. You know what I mean? But if you're smart and responsible with the drill, you're gonna use it for what it is. You know what I mean? Correctly.
So you're not anti the
app. I'm not anti-app. I'm not anti-app at all.
So let me
throw for it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, that it is an app that you can pay for, or you can add on certain features, or it's free for certain things. What about you, JR? Where do you stand with this? Do you use the app yourself? Are you anti, or are you for it?
I'm anti it, but I'm not like people, you're idiots for using it. Because I mean, I look at it this way. Morbius and I are old enough where we remember Wizard Magazine. I remember going and looking at the top 10 of Wizard Magazine and going, oh, I need to get these books. So I remember doing stuff like that, and I see people doing it. My issue more is when people get greedy. When it's like, oh, this new book, like Geiger. They're like, this is going to be a hot book. So it tells them, hey, go out and buy a bunch of, and people go to the store, and it's like, I just want to read a copy of it. I don't necessarily want to put it on my pull list yet, but I want to read it. Well, I can't get it because somebody came in and picked up 5 of the 10 issues in the morning before anyone else even had a chance. I feel that it uses the word key too loosely. A couple months ago, they were talking about like the X swords or whatever that series was, and they're like, all these swords are keys. No, they are swords. They're objects. They are not keys. They're not going to be over a $10, $15 book unless someone's first appearance is going to show up in there. And I just feel that they're misleading people because A, you're charging them every month to use this app, and then it forces people to become flippers. And I don't mind flipping. I have friends that flip. I flip. Nothing's wrong with selling a book if you get an extra copy or something. But at the same time, I'm not a fan of going and getting 5 copies of this because I know I can gouge the market. I've seen groups that will follow Key Collector, and they'll go, okay, well, we're going to hit 5 different stores, and they'll just clean out all the books. And it's like, that to me is killing the hobby. I prefer to read my books. I try, like I'm the same with you, Morbius. I don't really read DC unless it's Batman. And even that I've recently quit because I think Tynion's run on it is garbage. Yeah. I just don't care for it. I know. I'm a jerk. But I mean, it's hard to want to buy a book when they're just recycling characters. And I feel that now companies are catching on that people are going out and buying books because it's first appearances. So they make these first appearances so that they could sell the information to Key Collector, because you got to figure their Key Collector's getting it somehow because they're putting that stuff in there that morning. Right. So they're obviously buying it from the comic book companies. And so it just, to me, it seems like Marvel and DC have figured out, hey, we put new characters in every so often, those books are going to sell. I mean, look at Miracle Molly just came out. Was it last week or this week? And it's 200,000 copies of a Batman book because of all the store exclusives and everything.
Right.
Yeah. And I guarantee you that's because they're just coming out with new characters. Everyone wants to get the new punchline.
But isn't that good that people are buying comics? I mean, it's getting people to buy comics. I mean, stores made money off of that. They our LCS has made money off of that.
True. But then there's also, I mean, a lot of us remember the 90s. I remember that bubble of when Image comes out. It's like when anyone tells me Spawn #1 is going to be worth huge money, I remember people with long boxes of Spawn. I mean,
I feel like this is not that close though to the 90s. I know we had like a topic on here previously a little bit about that, and we had some people share like actual numbers of what the 90s was putting out versus what today's numbers are. And it's really not close. It's really not close. I mean, and I know this is probably more of a separate conversation altogether, but like, I don't think that's, I mean, that was one book hitting over the the 200K or whatever it was. You know, I guess if we had that happen multiple times, then maybe that's something to open our eyes a little bit more to. But either way, I don't think the Key Collector app necessarily had anything.
I think what JR was more referring to was more of the hypeness of going to pick up and going to chase, you know, something. You know what I mean? That's more of what I think, JR, because I was saying the same thing when we spoke about it last. You know, it wasn't about how many books were coming out. It's about how many people are now buying the books. How many people are now chasing these books, you know. So I think that, but we're not going to speak on that because that's totally another different topic. But. So
for me, with where I stand, and I appreciate both your opinions here on this matter. And I see a lot of great comments. We'll definitely get to some of these comments here in a bit too. So for me personally, I really like the app for how I use it. I am not anti in any way. If there was someone new that was just getting into the, you know, the hobby, I would definitely bring it to their attention. You know, and just, again, along with other things, like be careful what you do, right? Do research, all that stuff. I mean, all that comes into play as well. Right. You know I mean? And that goes with anything, because ultimately the way I look at the app is the internet. I mean, that's when I go into a store, like Morbius, you were saying, I will walk into a shop if I'm looking into a long box or something and I'm digging and I see a book that like looks a little familiar, but I don't quite remember if that's a key in any way. I'll want to look it up. So either I can go to I can either go to Google or I could go to the Key Collector app. Either way, there's going to be sources there, both true and false sources that are going to be on the internet because it's the internet, right? So you can't necessarily trust everything anyway. So ultimately, when I hear, I guess the thing that bothers me is when people say like, I don't like this app, it made me buy this, this, and this, or I'm spending way too much money now because of that damn app. And I always say, well, it's not the app that's making you spend the money. The app is not making you do the action, right? I mean, unless the app's putting a gun to your head that I don't know about, which I'm pretty sure it's not because it's never put a gun to my head before, then anything I do, any actions I take, regardless of what I just read or didn't read from that app or any other you know, internet source, it's on me. It's on me, which is what Morbius, as you pointed out, like it is what I am doing as a collector. And so from an individual standpoint, and I clarify that because I do think there are two angles at this, and JR, you touched on the opposite of this. But from an individual standpoint, I think it's a great app. I think it's helpful. It's been helpful to me. And again, I know we're talking from our own experiences. When I want information quickly and conveniently to just be able to type in, you know, a character's first appearance, I just go to the character section. I type that name in, it literally comes up and shows me, you know,
it correlates the information.
Right. And then of course, now it's on me to either trust what it's saying, right, or I can go look it up again and confirm it. And sometimes I do. Sometimes if it's an expensive book and I'm not familiar with it, I will throw it in Google on top of what I just looked at, right? So just another source, and that's just me being safe, you know, but that's my own actions. That's what I do. Not everybody's taught to do that. You know, people are going to do their own thing. I mean, some people don't look at any of these things and they just buy a book, you know, blindly.
Right.
But that's on them too. So. You know, for me, the app has definitely helped me where I bought a book correctly, you know, or I bought you know, I that's the book I wanted, the key. Okay, they confirmed this is a first appearance of X of whatever it is, you know, regardless how significant or insignificant it is. I mean, JR, you were also pointing out the X of Swords, you know, these swords not being first appearance or whatever. They still may be considered significant in some way, though, kind of like, you know, Captain America catching Mjolnir for the first time, you know, or something like that. Like those aren't first appearances, but it's the first time something may have happened. So that's all opinionated at that point, whether it's really meaningful to you or not. You might think, okay, that's just a sword, another sword, or whatever. But
maybe it's just they should have a different term for it, and maybe not a key. Maybe it's a moment.
But that's what I look at. Key is just meaning importance, the importance of in some way. Yeah. I mean, same with Grail. I mean, we throw these words around, but like, I mean, I know people who have $5 books that they call Grail, and it's like, well, it might be a Grail to them because it means something special. Maybe their family member gave it to them, and they're no longer with it. You know, so that's a Grail. You know, so we throw around these key terms.
I mean, let's look at when you want to compare. Let's look at when the first time they, talked about Wolverine's healing factor. You know, to an actual first appearance. You know, like that's I could see where they would say, okay, that's a key book. But then how much of a key it is. So that's why I get what he's saying, what JR is saying, with, let's categorize that differently.
But that's still on the collector. That's still on the collector to decide how important it is. I mean, they might disagree with you.
It all goes back to the collector. Regardless, it all goes back to the collector.
It's the educated collector. My qualm is for the new people coming in. They see that and they go, oh, that's a key. I need to get that key. And they don't understand that there's key like first appearance of Silver Surfer. Right. And then there's the key of first time Silver Surfer has the hammer. I mean, they're in a sense, they're both major moments, but at the same time, they're not the same level.
Sure.
Is what I'm getting at. And that makes sense. It feels like Key Collector kind of puts them both on the same level. It's like, no.
All right.
But again, that's still like the collector still would need to research that on their own. I mean, if ultimately, I don't feel bad for somebody. I mean, like, if you're basing all your trust in this app, then that's where the problem might be. Might realize that you're putting all that trust into one app. Yeah. But that's still not the app's fault. I mean, the app is going to be the app, right? I mean, it's still going to, Oh, and I wanted to mention, you guys, the other side of that was that you were saying, I mentioned based on the individual, this is how I feel about the app. But now if we talk about as a community or as a larger picture, I do see your other point, JR, where you were saying, it influences certain things in a way that messes up, like you said, a new book that's just come out and you want to go buy it. And now it's out because somebody, just bought a bunch of copies of it because this app influenced them. I mean, it's still on the individual and you still should be annoyed with the individual, but yes, I mean, but even if the app didn't exist, that stuff's going to happen because somewhere out there, there's someone on a platform that's telling other people buy this book, right? There's someone out there who has a personal list or a personal agenda. YouTubers are making tons of different lists out there. So even if the app didn't exist, someone's going to go searching on the internet or some form of internet, and find this information, be influenced by it, and then go out and get it. I mean, that's
you're absolutely, you're absolutely right. And I mean, part of my problem with it also is I wish I would have thought of the idea. I mean, because I remember as a kid writing those lists down, searching for all the stuff, going, hey, I need to get these issues, and literally taking buses to different comic shops and finding each issue and doing my legwork and doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas now I can go, oh, here's my phone. Let me bring up this and go searching through bins. And it's just like, well, shit, that's everything I learned. They've just put in an app, and it's just like, okay.
Well, and that's a good point you make. Something that just reminded me is that if back in the day before we had this app, not everybody knew all the keys, right? So someone who didn't know the keys, they had less of an advantage to go into a shop and find money, basically, right? Whereas those who educated themselves without this existing app, they still, however other sources they used, right? There's people out there that were educating themselves and knowing what to buy right away, even back, years ago. So as they're doing that, what I like about the app is it's evened out the playing field. Is kind of something you kind of mentioned was the fact that now new collectors don't have to do as much to find out what is a first appearance. Whereas before this app was around, they might not have ever known. They might have had a book in their hand, didn't know it, traded it off to some friend or gave it to somebody and missed out completely. Yeah. Whereas now they can educate themselves.
Let me chime in on it because there's a gentleman, I forgot his name, but he said he's been collecting for 5 months and he uses the app, but he gets confused when he hears OGs like JR, myself, and you, Justin. Some, not you just per se, but and as far as this topic goes, that he was saying that we kind of go against the app in that sense. But it goes back to what, JR was saying, what you were saying. When you hunting for something, when you're out there doing the legwork and putting in all that work, there's a different understanding to your collection. There's a different passion to your collection. There's a different way, a perception that you have based on your book and your collection than someone who could just get it off just his phone, ping, just get it, and it's, instant. You know, you that's why when the gentleman would say he doesn't understand, you know, why old heads look at these, you know, apps, like specifically Key Collector, in the way that we do look at it, you know, when it comes to all the negative parts about it, you know, they got to understand that, you know, like that gentleman, you know, you're not, how can I say that nostalgia, that emotionally connection that we have to our collection because we were out there sweating it. We have many stories to talk about how we got caught in the rain. You know what I mean? And you put your books under your shirt because you're hoping that you don't fuck them up, and you know, and all this stuff. And you know, these are things that we carry along with us for over 30 plus years, you know, collecting our stuff. And then you have somebody who just started, you know, they're not going to have that strong of a attachment to something. It's going to be more based on value than actual the book itself. You know what I mean? And that's what, you know me, that's my argument always. You know, I always go back to that. You know, you got to understand. So that's why when he said that and what you guys both were saying, it kind of like fits all together, because you have the old school collector that's like, man, you don't understand, man. Like, we put in this work to get this stuff. And then you have the new school collector that comes and he's just like, well, it's here at the, you know, the tips of my finger. And I'm just going to get all these books. And like this other thing what Gerald was saying that I agree with, they're going to pick up, they're going to be caught up in the whole key thing and are just going to be picking up all these books. And like I said, I've seen stuff on there where they've retracted, they've, you know, messed up on stuff. And these kids are buying these books, you know, spending money where they shouldn't be spending their money, you know, because they're following, you know, this trend that's going on with this key app, you know. And that, once again, like I said, I'm neither here or there with the app. I have my way of using it. I'm not dependent on it, you know, but I do use it. I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and tell you I don't use the app. Of course I use the app.
That's another thing too, is hypocrites.
You know,
I think
I do use the app, but it's how I use the app where it doesn't influence me. I use it to influence myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You use it as a tool and
right. To know that, hey, shit, I'm on it. I'm picking up these books. Like a lot of books that I pick up goes on instinct. It's just, yo, I'm gonna pick this up. It's not even a key, but I read it. It's part of, I want to finish that run. Next thing you know, fucking 5 months later, a year later, it's a key. It blows up and you're like, holy shit. You know, that's why I was talking to somebody recently about that. I said, you know, you just go off your instinct, man. Just follow your gut, follow what you like, follow what you're, you know, interested in. You'd be surprised what you pull out. You know what I mean? Don't expect to hit gold now, but you never know what's going to happen a few years later. And for somebody who's been doing it for so long, it's like when I picked up the books, they were not keys, but now they're keys.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, just go with that, man. But y'all both were touching on a lot of good stuff. You know, even though what I was saying makes more sense than both you guys were saying, but I'm just putting, you know, that's just me, you know.
I love your honesty. I
But I mean, I agree with you, because there's sometimes like Alonzo will say, oh, this book is hot on our show. And I'll be like, oh, that book? Oh, let me go look in the back of my boxes here.
Right.
And I mean, it's literally, I got my own comic shop and and it's like, I got it years ago. Like,
right. It was just,
what was it? A Young Avengers, the white cover that they did at one of the comic conventions at Wizard World.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you mean this book, Alonzo? And he's just like, fucker. And I'm like, I got this free. How much did you pay for it, Alonzo?
yeah, man.
But it's the fun of that. It's like we always say, collect what you like.
That's it, man.
Yep.
Just
I mean,
stick to that. Just stick to
that. I want to point out here what Sove said. A lot of their hype, a lot of their info is hype and worthless. It's misleading for the new collectors because they don't know and are lured into buying books with no real significance for inflated prices. Well, now, here's the thing with this comment though, is that and what's up, Michael? I don't know if I caught you earlier, but appreciate you hanging out and dropping these comments.
Appreciate you, brother.
So with what Michael's saying here, Michael Sove, if anybody didn't know, so what Michael's saying here, I feel that you could say the same thing about the internet.
Yes.
And I'm
going to agree with you on this.
So like if we're telling everybody you know, that this app's bad and you can't just go trusting everything, I mean, we should be saying the same thing about the internet then too, right? We should be saying the same thing about Google. And we don't. I mean, people are. I mean, it's almost like a given now, right? As adults, as we grow up, you know, whether you're a new collector or not, it's like, okay, we understand the internet. You can't trust everything on the internet. You know.
I think a little bit of the difference though is people are paying whatever it is every month.
But they're not. A lot of people. So yes, there is.
Yeah.
You can pay. I will say right now, though. Well, one, it's like $3 or something like that. It's nothing crazy.
No, I know.
And then on top of that, though, like for the most part, you can get almost everything. I can get everything I need for free. I mean, everything that they offer on the free side of things is plenty for what I'm looking for.
Right.
Otherwise, you pay for the detailed, movie hype and TV show hype and other stuff. But so that's. I mean, if that's what you're pointing out, JR, that's not a big, I would say 50. I mean, a large percentage doesn't pay for it, And
I think the other thing that bothers me, like I actually hang out in comic shop a lot of times on Fridays or Saturdays. And what drives me nuts, and even the owner, and it's not I don't mind them getting over on the owners. Oh, I found this book that's $5. It's actually a $40 book. If the owner's not doing their work, they're not doing their work. That's on the owner. But I'll do the same thing.
But I would say that about the collector too. If the collector's not doing their research, it's on the collector.
Well, right. But what I was getting at is they will sit there and go through every single back issue with their phone out going like this. And I mean, and they'll do that for like 3 or 4 hours, and then they'll come up with like a stack this big, and it's just like, really? You're doing all that work for that much?
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know. I
don't think that's the app's fault, though. That's the individual's choice.
No, it's the individual. It's
right, because it
could be looking at Google.
I get what you're saying, JR, we're on the same level on a lot, because Justin knows, man. Justin knows. The wallet.
What about your wallet, Justin?
What about your wallet, Justin?
My wallet and I are not talking right now.
Yeah, he got you on punishment.
Yeah.
So I get what JR is saying, because it bothers the shit out of me too. I'm not gonna lie. When they're there on their phone and they just can't, and you're like, bro, like for real, like put the phone away for a second, and it all goes back. And I'm not blaming the app. When I look at it from my perspective, JR, I feel the pain you feel, but I'm looking at it as I'm not blaming him. Not the app. I'm blaming the person. I'm looking at him like, yo, bro, like put the fucking app away. You know what I mean? Like just go through it. Go on something on what you like. Just go off what you like. You see a dope cover. Oh, dope. Oh, let me see if this is a key. Oh, it's not all good. This shit is dope. I'm taking it. You know what I mean? Like that's how you go about it, So it does bother me. It does. That's my pet peeve. And also when they grab like 5-10 books, we've already been on this before too. I'm that dude that'll tap you on the shoulder and be like, "Yo, fam, you really need 10? Like, can I have one?" Like even if I'm not even buying the damn book, just for a principle, I'll just be like, "Yo, let me get one, man." Like,
I hate when like somebody gets like 17 carnages.
Yeah, you put people up against the wall.
Yeah, I'm just hold them up against the racks, like 2 of them, son.
Sorry, Jared. What were you saying?
No, I was just making fun of somebody because they got 17. Was it Carnage 360 or Spider-Man 361? 17 carnages in one box.
Whoa.
Love you, Ian.
Jesus Christ.
I like what Sith here says. He says I cross-reference Key Collector with CGC labels, Comic Vine, Wikipedia, Marvel, DC Wikia,
brother,
a bunch of research.
Salute, Sith. He do his work. He put his work in, man.
Right.
That's how you do it. You put in that work.
Because everything we're saying about this app, we could also say about any of these other things that he just listed here, because they're all influences in some way, shape, or form.
No, and like I was saying early on, I mean, Wizard Magazine was the same way.
Exactly.
That's true.
I mean, Wizard was the early
for
version
its
of
time. For its time, it was.
Overstreet, all that stuff.
Yeah, man, it was the best, man.
I mean, you got to view it kind of like you view like alcohol or guns and stuff.
Exactly, man.
Alcohol doesn't kill people. Well, if you drink too much, I guess. But it's the person drinking it.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just like guns. I get that with the app. I mean, I choose not to use it, but I mean at the same time, most of my stuff I already got. Like I'm chasing my Daredevil run, chasing my Uncanny run, and that's about it.
I gotta get on my Daredevil, man. I'm slacking.
I'm down to like last 40.
What's up, Gore? We got Gore Vidal hanging with us.
Jeez. What's up, brother?
Sorry, I was just seeing if I was trying to catch up on some of these comments. There's a lot of great ones.
Some of these chats, man. We've been neglecting the chat a little bit.
How much of the key depends on the market.
That's what it is.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Great conversation, man. I'm loving this one.
Let me scrolling through some. We got comics are great in the house. What is up? We got David in the house. What is up? He says the app sucks. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the short way. Like, I mean, you know, people just kind of throw that out there that the app sucks. But like, here's the other thing. I know there's a lot of people who, and you mentioned this before, Morbius, about, you know, hypocrites. There are a lot of hypocrites out there who trash this app, but then use it at the same time. And it's like,
oh, matter of fact, even worse, they're paying for it.
It's like, well, you know, it's like, if you know, if you don't like, you know, if you truly don't like it, then don't use it.
Come
and don't
on,
talk
man,
about it.
like, stop it. You know,
you know, there's definitely some of that. There's definitely some of that.
If you have an opinion about it, it's because you've been using it. So
yeah. What's up, Fable? Good to see you, brother.
Oh, Big Fable was good, brother.
Let's see. Empire says, I think that's on the collector. Really, the app is just telling you what's going on in the book. The market dictates how much they're willing to pay for it. Yeah, I mean, it's just sometimes it can tie into it. Yeah. And so sorry guys, some of this stuff is like older comments. I apologize. We're like 13 minutes behind on the comments. So
just don't bring up any of the Tinian comments, please.
They'll appreciate it.
Any of the what comments?
The Tinian comments. People want to know why I hated the Batman run.
Oh, got it.
They can email me or I'll do it on our show.
Right.
I
was to say, I see a lot of that. You should watch the first episode of Justin's book club. You'll love it.
Oh, I know. I've been telling him he's stealing all my stuff because I've read Rat Queens also, Daredevil, all that.
Okay. Yeah, he goes through the whole Tinian stories. You should check that out.
I actually like Tinian as a writer. I just didn't like his Batman run.
I was just going to say, I know you like it.
Okay.
Yeah, I have nothing against Tinian normally as a writer.
Yeah. He's on so many different projects. We were talking about this the other night when I was streaming, and you know, I think, and this was kind of just tossed his way because Tom King was kicked off it. You know, like it's for him, he's probably just like, oh, okay, I got some stories in the back. I mean,
he's not like Jeff Lemire for me. Like Jeff Lemire, I'll never read a story of his again.
Don't get into this. Don't get me started with this, Jeff.
Jeff Lemire, though. I mean,
I love Jeff Lemire.
I know.
Let's not get into this.
Like I said, poster child for birth control.
We JR and I have very respectful conversations about the things we disagree on. That's what I like about you so much, JR. You keep it real, but you're very respectful about everything. As everyone here, everyone I've been talking with.
Well, I learned a long time ago when I'm a Spider-Man hater, I have to be respectful to other people because 99% of people are Spider-Man fans.
Yeah, otherwise you're just gonna be hated by the world.
Yeah,
so you gotta have some respect. Pretty much. Says, the community helped me fine tune my list of comics. Collect what you like. I like that. Comics are Grace's Key Collector is a decent tool, but it's not a perfect one, and that's fair. That's 100% fair. You know, Morbius, you touched on that too. Like that, you know, there's some mistakes. They end up removing it. And, you know, but that's the other thing. They're not like some big corporation. They're not like Nike or anything, you know, where they have 100, thousands of people working on this information. You know, it's one or two guys, and that's really it, you know, and then whatever information they have to cross-reference with on their own terms. But, you know, but again, that's another thing. I think as Comics H has said, that it's not a perfect one. I think that anyone using the app needs to understand that going into it and not just assuming that everything's 100% right. Which all goes back to what we're saying is to, you know, cross-reference any information.
Do your homework.
Yeah, exactly. Do your homework.
It all goes back to, you know, like everything with comics is all about researching, being educated, being knowledgeable, and wanting to know these things. You know, that's major.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just run into this and they, you know, and it's like Wild Wild West. You know what I mean? It's no history, no background to it. It's a key. Give it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's, you know, that's a major thing, especially with the gentleman who say just started 5 months ago. You know, it's like, man, bro, I hope you really doing your homework, really doing your research when you're on this app. You know, don't fall for the FOMO. You know, it does happen when these variants come out. Damn you. But, you know, just stay away, you know, as hard as you can from it. But yeah, you know, to be on the lighter note of it, you know, the app itself, it can, you know, give you some type of guidance, you know, with like what Justin was saying, with how you use it, with how you apply it to your habits of collecting, you know, to how you collect, you know, and that's what's important about this, you know. And of course you're gonna hate it. If you hate it, then hey, you know, it's on you. If you love it, you love it. You know, I just hope that you're able to pay your bills. You're not, you know, killing yourself for these books, and you're doing your work. That's it. Whether you love it or you hate it, I don't care. You know, I just want to make sure that you guys do this responsibly because we've all been there. I'm telling you based on experience. You know, we've all been there. You know, we put ourselves in a hole and we're like, holy shit. You know, and then you're fucking bullshitting to your wife or girlfriend for like the next, you know, couple weeks to cover your ass. And you're like, why are you using the credit card so much? You know, I'm just saving up.
Yeah.
Just saving up.
But the point of what Copy was saying about a book that's eventually going to get cold. One of my favorite books is Peter Pan's and Faust. And it's basically Peter Pan during World War II. And it was hot at the time. I ended up I got the #1 book, 9.8 sign, everything, like $200. I think it's a $50 book now. So I mean, things cycle around. I mean, people are going after Nottingham right now, and it's selling like crazy. In a year, it may be a $5 bin book. Yeah, I mean,
you just never know, man, with these things. And that's another thing. Like, did you pick it up, that Nottingham?
Yeah. Okay. I haven't read it yet, but I want.
Justin, you picked it up?
No.
Okay, I didn't. I didn't pick it up.
I missed it.
No. I didn't even care to grab it. Like, I'm like,
I've always liked Robin Hood. So I'm like, I like Peter Pan. I like Robin Hood. Those are, I grew up on those. So I'll even watch the cheesy British TV Robin Hoods and stuff. You know what I mean? Even though I know they're going to be bad. Now, did I pay $70, $80 for them? Hell no. And I won't.
Right. Exactly.
By the way, we had at one point 42 people in the chat. I just want to shout out to everybody in the chat because that's the most I've ever had on my channel. So
wow.
we're at 24.
That happened here.
yeah. It's JR.
It's a Sith Lord. What do you expect?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. That's awesome, man.
A couple things here. And also I just want to shout out everybody. Make sure you guys are subbing up these guys. Hit subscribe to this channel as well. Hit that thumbs up. Whether you're just arriving or you're heading out. I wanted to highlight two things here. One, David saying I don't need an effing app to tell me what I need to know. So I know that this is just a generalized sentence, and obviously can be taken in a few different ways. But, you know, I just think to those who, and we talked about this, but I think to those who are brand new to the hobby that are just getting into that, if they want to use this, I think the app is a great way for them to gain some information. And then the other thing is, David, I mean, I'm curious where you get your information from, because maybe it's not an app, but maybe it's online, maybe it's the internet, maybe it's friends of yours. Those are all resources as well that you could be getting your information from. So, you know, just, you know, when you throw out lines like that, it's just something to consider that perhaps you don't. But you also have a lot of knowledge. Maybe you've done this for a long period of time. But you know, we're talking about, you know, just generally speaking, how is this app? How, you know, should it be used? All these different things. And from the perspective of someone coming in brand new or a couple of years, even, you know, it's I don't see it being a problem at all.
Yeah, I mean, even the gentleman that said that he was just started, he relied on that app.
And and Louis was saying too that he uses Green. He said he's not as familiar with Green Lantern, so he uses it for that, which I think is he says it's very helpful to a newbie. Yeah,
and it could be very overwhelming. Exactly, and that's what we were talking about. That right there, you know, how it could overwhelm a collector, and it doesn't even have to be a newbie. It could be somebody like us, you know, that's been in it for a long time.
I don't know anything about Green Lantern, and if I want to look up some Green Lantern, then I'm going to need an app.
Green Lantern, you know, I think I have one Green Lantern book.
Right.
I'll direct you in the right area for Green Lantern.
Well, there you go.
Okay, there you go.
That's my other resource right there.
He got the resource right there. So, you know, so he hit it right on, you know.
Mr. Unknown said, "What's an app?" That's a good question. We should have started with that, guys. We should have broke this down. We should not have assumed that anybody understood that.
You know? And that right there, that's very important. He just said it. But yeah, man, you know, you just got to look at it in that sense. You know what I mean? It's an app, people. You know what I mean? It's not something that's gonna. Nothing should tell you how to collect. How about that? Nothing or nobody. You have people who make suggestions. And that's how I look at this key app. It's just to me.
Yeah. It's not telling anybody to do anything.
It's a suggestion. It's suggesting to me that saying that everyone else is in agreement that this book right here is a key. You know what I mean? And okay, big shit. You know what I mean? I'm not picking up, like I said, all those books. Just because it's a key doesn't mean I'm gonna pick it up, because I don't care for that. I don't care for the fact that it's a key. I'm not chasing that. You know what I mean? I just want a book that I want in my collection, which is whether I'm interested in, like I said, reading, whatever. You know what I mean? But it's not necessarily a value purpose of it or being a key in itself.
Yeah. And Paul here, PJ saying, but why would anyone buy why would anyone be buying books because an app told them to? Because the app told them that it's hot. He said the person is in it for the wrong reason, anyways. Yeah, if that's the case too.
It's kind of mixed, I think, there, because I mean it all depends. Like if it's the first appearance during the week, then yeah, they're chasing at first appearances, hoping to get the next character in the Marvel show.
Exactly.
But at the same time, there could be some stuff where it's good to know what's coming out, so you know, hey, maybe I should pick up my X-Men books before the X-Men movies come out, because it's going to cost a whole lot more after those X-Men movies comes out.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I like that it gives you the heads up about the market. You know, like here's what the market's buying right now. Here's what is hot. I mean, even like Comic Tom 101, and I know that can be a whole subject too, but you know, his top 10 lists and stuff like that. I know a lot of people hate on that. But I mean, I watch it. It helps me. I use it. The way I use it anyways is it helps me. The information that they provide, it's not telling me that, you know, they're not putting a gun to my head. Same thing with what we're talking about with the app. They're not putting a gun to my head saying that I have to absolutely, you know, do this thing or take this action. They're providing information, and you know, how I act on it after is on me.
If you could get the inside track on anything, not even comic books. If somebody's telling you, or you know, whatever, a stock, you know, or you're into stocks and stuff, and they're like, hey, listen, you know, I found out some inside information. If you buy now or sell now, you're gonna make a ton of money later, and it's a great investment, blah blah blah, whatever. You know, so there's nothing wrong. That's how I see it. There's nothing wrong with getting information. It's how you discern that information. It's how you break down that information. And this all falls, again, back to the collective. It all falls on the individual who is behind that. You know what I mean? It's not the person who's providing that. It's the person who's watching it, consuming it, eating it up. And it's how you digest that, how you digest that information. It all falls on you. And that's, I'm going to be adamant about that, you know, because a lot of people are so quick to point the finger, you know, and say things, and I get it. They have valid reasons. JR, you got plenty of valid reasons. I feel the same way about it, you know, when it comes to the app, where all that their mishaps and how they fuck up things, of course, and how it could fuck up a new collector, like he said, getting overwhelmed, or another person who just confused, you know, and of course, I'm 100% on that. But at the same time, that you know, you have to take responsibility and accountability for your own actions. Right. You know what I mean? It's even in the Bible. The son is not accountable for the sins of the father, nor the father is accountable for the sins of the son. So what the father does, that's on him. You know what I mean? And what the son does, that's on you. You know? So don't go blaming and pointing fingers saying, oh, well, I saw my dad do this. It's like, no. You know? Everything on the end of the shoot. There you go. Come on. It's like you should have that there always when you on your phone, no matter what, on Instagram, anywhere. That's your mind state should be. Like this is, you got to understand, this is you are just an avatar. You know what I mean? You're an avatar in this illusion that you tap into when you hit that phone. And you got to remember that every time you're there, this is not real. You know what I mean? It's not real.
But that's also where it comes down to guys like us that have been around the game for a while, that can take those new collectors under our wings and kind of go, hey, let's educate you a little bit. Let's help you out, help you get in the right direction. Not necessarily say they're wrong, because I'm not saying you're wrong in that sense. It's more, hey, what do you want? What do you enjoy? What do you like? Is that really a key in your eye? That type of stuff, where you kind of and help them develop their own knowledge and help them develop their own sense.
Right.
I mean, like Alonzo's got great spec sense, and I would love to have like his spec sense. And I listen to him about half the time, but but it's one of those things where it's that type of stuff. Where it's our responsibility as the older cats in this to kind of see those guys that are the new guys and kind of go, hey, that app's okay, use it as a tool, but learn outside of it, because you got to, for lack of a better term, develop your spidey sense.
Ooh, dropping some Spider-Man references here coming from JR. You guys,
that's the only thing I'll give you on that
one. I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Sith, there you go. Ask JR about Spider-Man.
There you go. He just answered the question.
Hey, I've got a bunch of high-end Spider-Man books, probably more than a lot of people, so makes me money.
Guys, we are hitting that 5-minute mark. A little less than that now.
I was having a blast here.
This
guys.
is
This was really good.
great
The
conversation.
chat was on fire. We were on fire.
Oh yeah.
There's a ton more comments too. I apologize, y'all, if we didn't get to you. But I will say, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below because we'll address it there. If you guys have anything that you want to share, drop it there. Make sure that you're following both of these gentlemen. If you have any questions or comments or anything that you want to bring up to them directly, obviously you can find them over on Instagram. I put their information down below. Feel free to reach out to them, DM them, and keep it civil, keep it respectful. But we love talking about this or not. Yeah,
or not.
Yeah,
We don't care.
Just know you poke the bear, you're gonna get a bite.
Exactly.
I don't hold punches.
No.
Do not poke the bear.
Yeah, my sleeve. Yeah, let's get it.
I love it. So before we wrap it up, JR, I'll give you a little platform here. Let us know, a couple things what you got coming up and where people can find you.
Right now you got Team Nerd Herd. You can find all of our stuff there. You want movies? We got Comics and Pops doing his shows. We've got Steve doing Hip Hops and Me Collectibles. He's got his show. He just did a Demon Slayer review today with his brother Eric and Alonzo. We've got Nick and Ian doing your financial stuff. If you want to know about crypto, go there. Cell Phone Balling's a great show. You've got Bear and Bull with Azores Tiger from Spine Ticks. I'm showing up there soon. You got Ian and Nick doing your spec books. We always got interviews. If you like Kanto, if you like John Boy Myers, Maureen Goo, we've got a couple more coming down the road. And then we got a couple new shows that we're going to be preparing pretty soon. So just come on over, see us on every Thursday night. We do our our mail call show or shit talking show. And then Sundays we do our picks of the week. Come over there, poke the bear, have some fun. Everyone's welcome. We usually have sketches. We're not doing a sketch this week, but Tim Stacy comes on every so often and does live sketches for free.
They're dope too.
And I think Justin's got one actually.
Yeah, I was one of the first ones, the punchline one.
Yeah. So it's a great show, guys. If you get a chance, we're almost to 1,000. We're at like 939, I think. Wow. Get us to 1,000. We've got so much shit we're gonna pass out.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's gonna be crazy.
Congratulations on the road to 1,000. You guys are super close to that.
Yeah,
by the way, that's Tim's work right there. I'll just put that.
And he did that in like an hour and a half, guys.
During your show, yeah, during the show, it was really cool.
You can find him on Instagram if you want to get pieces done by him. I had him do a piece for Ian. He did a Silver Surfer full color, beautiful thing. Wow. I've got a piece coming pretty soon from him. So I can't say what it is until it comes, but you guys want to see it. It's gonna be a good one.
Nice. Hey, we got Fuzzy said Morbius. I'm a new sub to you, so there you go.
And I'm subbing right back, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, guys, make sure you're like you said, following both these gentlemen here. JR, sounds like you got a lot of stuff in the works. Obviously, the whole team does, and I love all the stuff that you guys are doing out there. So we appreciate you coming on with us, man.
Yes,
anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime you need an asshole, I'm here.
Yeah. We appreciate it, man.
I love another asshole on the show. I feel like that's amazing.
I figure I got to catch up on the cussing since Morbius took so many.
Appreciate you, my brother.
Appreciate you too, sir.
Morbius, real quick, I'll send it your way as well. You got anything coming up or anything you want to share with the people before we close
we
out?
were just talking about earlier for those, I'm really, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a giveaway. Let's see if y'all can get me up to 200 subs, and I'm going to get some goodies for y'all. I'm going to have some good stuff. I'm not going to say what it is now. I have some stuff in mind that I want to give you guys, but this is just off the whim right now. I was just thinking about it, talking to the fellas, and I was like, you know what? Let me just do a giveaway. So those who don't know, go hit up my channel. Is Morbius Comics, same as my IG handle, and y'all can follow me there. And of course, I'm always, putting out some good content, trying to get some good stuff out for you guys, and hopefully, we get to build. And then again, I know me and Justin, we got the show that's going now. I'm just excited about it. This is our 12th episode, so this is awesome. And having JR here is a great show today. So Thank you guys once again. Awesome show. Thank everybody in the chat. Thank everybody who came through. All 40 plus people who was in here. Salute to y'all, and shout out to everybody who's catching the replay. Thank you so much. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to sub up to Justin and to JR, and of course to your homeboy Morbius. So y'all already know, brothers. Great night. Thank you so much, Justin. I'll drop it off to you.
Well said, brother. Well said. And yeah, guys, a lot of great things going on for all of us. It sounds like I'm about to jump over to John's Comics with Kids doing my Omni X-Men. I saw Chet in here saying that Omni X-Men was more important than this. But yeah, guys, it's been a lot of fun. I was just streaming before I hit my 1 year anniversary on YouTube yesterday, so that was a lot of fun there. And thanks, man. I appreciate it. So yeah, this it's been a great time. Awesome show as always. We'll be back again next week. Hopefully, I think we have scheduled. We'll have Nigel on. I think we're trying to get it in the works there, but you know, hopefully with the schedules, yeah, it'll work out. So, but yeah, so if you guys are just catching us now, if you're watching the replay, appreciate you. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on the way out. Always appreciate the support. And until next Tuesday, we'll talk to you later.
Peace.